Get Some Fantasy Football Podcast, hosted by two-time Bundy champion Andrew Lovick and six-time Purgatory champion Matthew Shepard. I'm getting AJ Green from you this year. It's gonna happen.
It's not happening, man. I promise. Not this year. You're just a lazy-eyed bastard, man.
Hey, at least I've won the Bundy twice.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Fuck off. We are the unequivocal,
unmistakable,
decisive,
most conclusive podcast for this league of record. And do you know why, Andrew?
Because this podcast has more Bundys than the other guys. The news you deserve and the news you can trust. Fuck you, Brad and Stu. Our podcast is better. Let's get started. What's up, League? It's your boy, Andrew, coming from you live from Rocky Patel Studios with my co-host, Matthew Shepard. How are you today, sir?
Oh, man, I'm doing just fantastic. It's another beautiful Friday in the Bundy League.
The League of Record. I don't know what all this podcasting is about some other league, but that's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, we got some people in the Dynasty League, sure, but it's not what this podcast is for. Let's talk about the league that fucking matters.
The Bundy League.
Amen to that, brother. We got a great lineup today. Some new segments. We got some new segment names for you guys. I think you guys are going to really enjoy this one, and hopefully we'll be able to stay on track with our weekly podcast moving forward if somebody will quit going out of town to San Diego.
A whale's vagina. Ron Burgundy and I had a great time, thank you.
Scotch.
All right. Dirty Randy's recap last week. Let's take a look at this, Matt.
Yeah, I had some interesting games. A couple of them looked like somebody was going to win, and then they didn't. Happened several times. Brad thought he was going to lose. I thought I was going to win. Neither of those happened. So some upsets, some pretty interesting weeks. So started out on top of my list, me and Stu. Man, my defense looked like it was going to carry me all the way to the promised land. Had a lot of really good players to go. Joe Mixon, I had Mike Williams, had high hopes for him. Greg Olsen, Phillip Lindsay, and everybody just flat out fell on their face except for Marlon Mack and Drew Brees, and, of course, Michael Thomas.
Yeah, that was kind of brutal for you, but I thought you had it in the bag, but Stu came back strong and fucked you without a condom.
Yeah, he didn't even take me out to dinner. Dak Prescott and Josh Jacobs really, we knew what we'd get out of Saquon Barkley. You knew that. Josh Jacobs, everybody thought he'd be good. No one really knew. Stu took a chance on him, and he panned out big time for 23 points.
Did he use a sandpaper condom?
Yeah, my asshole's pretty rough. That was a tough one.
All right,
tough
man.
Loss.
Oh, tough. All right, moving forward, let's go with Co-Pro versus Mr. Michael Day. Co-Pro, you're a monster. You're an animal, 135.92 points.
And that was with Sony Michel only getting him 1.4. I mean, can you imagine if that dude had played, anybody else, any other running back?
Vance McDonald and David Montgomery both each got him 5 points. I mean, but his monster, Mr. Patrick Mahomes, took care of business. Dalvin Cook took care of business. And DeAndre Hopkins carried his ass. And
I mean, he's got Sutton and Tom Brady on the bench. I mean, the dude's got potential. That's really
he's looking real good for Co-Pro. Hey, Day hit 100 points. It's more than what I can say, but good job. I don't know if your tight ends are going to get it.
Yeah, he got a lot out of Derrick Henry. I think he's going to be a workhorse in Tennessee this year. I really feel like Deion Lewis has kind of hit the wayside. They're going to lean on Derrick Henry, so that's a good pick. James White, I'm pretty sure he got more points than anybody expected out of him, especially with as much as they were up. I would have expected Sony Michel to carry more, but definitely outscored Sony Michel on that, so that's a good play. He kind of got left in the dust there with Devontae Adams. Don't expect too many 5-point games out of him. That's a thing of the past. That won't happen every week. So you got a good team. I'm sure Ertz will see some more time. He'll catch more than he did. He was targeted 7 times. He probably could have had over 100 yards if he'd have caught all 7. But him and Kelsey together, it'll still be a good combo. I wouldn't be worried about that. You've got a pretty mean team as long as they stay healthy. Your bench is terrible, though.
Next up, Mr. Adam Shepard and Brad Lucas. This was a game, Matt, that I thought Brad might go down. I was literally, when Lamar Jackson was scoring a billion touchdowns against Miami's defense, I thought to myself, ooh, Brad might get a loss here. But, lo and behold, Mr. McCaffrey destroyed the field to keep up with Lamar Jackson. And he had a pretty decent showing from Deshaun Watson as well.
Yeah, quite the quarterback. I mean, everybody knows what Deshaun Watson is. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be a phenomenal play every week of the year. He may even score 20 in his bye week.
Look, Delaney Walker was the one that I did not see coming. 20 points out of him. Calvin really had a great game. Mr. Gostkowski helped save the day for Brad, because I don't know if he had Gostkowski, he would have won this game.
Yeah, 16 points out of your kicker. I mean, you look for 5 to 9, and he gets double or triple what you expect on the low end. So it worked out well for Brad, unfortunately.
It's a tough loss for Adam.
Because I'll never say what I said once before. All I'll say is fuck Brad.
All right, next up we've got Mr. Sam Bartlett versus Ryan Dixon. This was a very close game as well. I mean, it came down. It could have been one player difference here. Tyrell Williams would have won the game for you, but you had him on your bench, Dixon, so that kind of sucked. But Jameis Winston had a terrible showing. Alvin Kamara, Chris Carson, Josh Gordon, Keenan Allen. I mean, you're talking about the core right there, killing it. Minnesota Vikings for Sam. His tight end got 4.7. Cooper Kupp got 8. Decent, but with a poor showing of a quarterback and coming through strong like that to get the dub, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, Dixon really lost it with Pittsburgh getting behind really big. They couldn't go to James Conner in the middle to the late game like they're used to, so he didn't get the attention that he needed to really show out and get some points. And I think that's really what hurt Dixon. That won't happen again. Pittsburgh will fix their offense. They'll fix it and make it happen. There was a lot of drama surrounding this game with the Antonio Brown going to the Patriots, and I really think it just kind of messed with the heads of Pittsburgh a little bit, and they fell flat on their face. But I think moving forward, they're going to rebound really well, and James Conner will have plenty of opportunity.
I think both guys here got pretty good teams, and I think they'll be just fine throughout the season.
Definitely.
Next up, we have Eskimo, Big City Slicker Vince. Break this one down for me, Matt.
Yeah, it was. I really expected more out of Vince. I mean, Baker didn't have a good game at all, but Johnson really showed that he is what he could be. Last year he didn't really pan out for Stu, but he looked really, really good in this week's games, and he probably will moving forward. They got a potential for a dynamic offense there. So Todd Gurley, unfortunately, looks like he's going to be in a little bit more of a timeshare than he was last year.
Oh, please, God, I hope so.
Kenny Golladay turned out well for you there, turned into a solid 12 points. But unfortunately for you, even with a 3-point showing for Mitch Trubisky, Mark Ingram had a day, and so did Amari Cooper and Evan Ingram.
They feasted. Now, I will call this battle right here the battle of the quarterbacks. 6.4 and 3.2. What a showing for both guys here. I don't expect Mitch Trubisky to do much more than that. I could be wrong, but we do still have a bet, according to the commissioner, on the line here. Despite the mono case.
Mono is not an injury, it's just an illness.
We'll get into that later. Evan Ingram, great strong showing. Tariq Cohen, and the New England Patriots, of course, destroyed your Pittsburgh Steelers because they sucked.
Yeah, they were pretty awful. But hey, you got Austin Eckler on the bench over there. Larry Fitzgerald had a game. I mean, you won, and you left a ton of points on the bench.
Yep.
So, yeah, hold your head high, man, and think forward because you got a team, brother, and it's going to play.
Last matchup of the week one here is the one that I am not happy with.
Lowest scoring matchup of the week.
Is myself versus Rod, who pulled out the win, and the difference maker could have been Devin Singletary, Hollywood Brown. I left a lot of points on the bench. Hell, Kyler Murray even did better than Russell Wilson. But
the injury bugs got me, and Sam Bradford had his way with me, and I will never be the same ever again.
Yeah, I think this week incited possibly a team name change.
Bradford's Revenge. I'm coming for all of you. I'm coming for you, and I'm gonna get you.
That's downright scary that you've embraced that as much as you have, brother. I promise.
I'm praying to him every night, and I am his bitch now.
Speaking of Bradford, next up we got injury report in our Bradford's bag of bones and joints.
Bradford's bag of bones and joints.
That wasn't planned, but that was nice. Got quite a long list growing here of a bunch of people. Joe Mixon, dealing with a little bit of an issue there, but caught his toe, messed with his ankle a little bit. Light sprain. They're not saying it's going to be much. He should play this week.
Gio.
Yeah, don't think that's going to happen. He started actually full participant in practice today, so I think Joe Mixon's going to go for me this week, so I'm pretty excited about that. Trey Burton still dealing with a groin injury on my team, but that's okay because my waiver wire acquisition went through, and I don't need him if I don't have to have him.
Dollar bill, y'all spending that money.
AJ Green, he's still he's working out on the sidelines now. He's in team practices. He's not full participant, but it's looking good. There's no actual timetable, but probably this week and maybe two more. And he should be looking at being back on the field and get some time.
And by that time, he will be on my team. It is the law of the universe.
No, not happening. Will not happen. Green is staying with me all year. If you want to trade for Green, just back the fuck off because I'm keeping him.
It's happening. All right.
Mike Williams, last guy on my team, dealing with some knee issues. They don't think it's terrible, but he's probably going to miss a few weeks, which is unfortunate for you. Tyreek Hill injury has made Sammy Watkins pretty valuable for me, so I've got a filler for that. So now I've got Michael Thomas and Sammy Watkins going up as my starters. So could be worse.
Yeah, what injury on my team hasn't benefited everyone else?
That's right. Speaking of your team.
Oh, that was just the giant list of players that just went to the floor and rolled across the room. Let's get in on it.
Tyreek Hill, man, that's like 0.03% of players have...
no, it was 3%.
Oh, 3%.
3% of players get this injury. Super fucking rare.
That's pretty bad luck. Luckily for you, they did come out and say 4 to 6 weeks. The initial projection was 6 to 7. So looks like you'll get him back a little sooner than
Hoping
the initial
for 4.
projection. So Juju, he's got...
Thank God he's all right.
He was a full participant in practice today, so he's going to play full participant in practice today, so he's going to go this weekend, no problem. He'll be up against the Seahawks. Looks like he could be just fine for you. Who else did you have here? Tevin Coleman. Yeah, poor guy. He is week to week with a high ankle sprain. Typically, those things are long-term injuries. You're probably going to be missing him for at least 3-4 weeks, maybe more.
That's okay. Stu wants to trade me Matt Breida, so I'll be just fine.
Has he pushed it on you? He's pushed it on me. He's pushed it on everybody, I think. He wants to get rid of Matt Breida. And then Le'Veon Bell. Looked like it had the potential to be something bad. They did an MRI, came back, said that no serious injury. He was a full participant in practice today.
Thank you, baby Jesus.
And we got a few more injuries. I don't know whose team they are. I just got them listed out, so we'll start with...
I know Geis Dixon's.
Yeah, Darius Geis. Man, that's unfortunate, Dixon.
Yeah,
as I was writing this list, it was 6 to 8 weeks. Now they're saying
out in
IR. He may not make it back till late season. That's a kind of a big hit for you there, bud.
And I'm really happy I dropped Adrian Peterson. That was awesome.
Yeah, Adam scooped that up, and
you're welcome, Adam. I'm here for you, buddy.
Yeah, he's played it. He went in and picked up Carlos Hyde. He's got Adrian Peterson now as the starter. Though Adrian Peterson, we'll see. It remains to be seen how productive he's going to be. They're going to play from behind a lot.
Well,
Chris Thompson will probably see a lot
But
of time
I will
too.
say that Adrian Peterson will be more productive than Darius Geis and Tevin Coleman.
Yeah, Yeah, he definitely will be. Yeah,
Definitely.
at least over the next few weeks. Next on the list for Day, Sterling Shepard battling a concussion. He was questionable throughout the morning today, but they did come out this afternoon and say that he will be out for this weekend's games. So no Sterling Shepard, though Day already had him on the bench. He was prepared for that move to happen. And, there's a couple small ones in there. Patrick Mahomes dealing with an ankle injury.
I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not
an
a big
ankle
deal.
sprain. It's going to limit his mobility a little bit. It may hurt him, extending the play, but I still think Patrick Mahomes is going to be fine. He's a future Hall of Famer, Patrick Mahomes, so he'll be just fine. And the last big injury that we have, poor Hunter Henry.
Woo pig suey. I am sad to see this. I know we all are. We're all Hog fans. I don't wish him any ill will being on the Chargers. I was hoping to see him, kick it off this year from his ACL tear, but to see him go down again, I mean, that sucks. I mean, is he the next Tyler Eifert?
It's unfortunately his career's starting out that way. Hopefully he can get over this one, get back, get into the games toward the end of this year.
I agree.
And make something happen. I'd hate to see a former Hog start out his career and look like he had the potential and then turn into Tyler Eifert. So
Yep, agreed.
that pretty much does us for Bradford's Bag of Bones and Joints.
Next up, we have Goodell's Highway to Hell.
Yeah, and the highway to hell this week, we're going to talk about suspensions and things, potential suspensions, different things coming up throughout the week. The
naughty list.
Exactly, Goodell's naughty list, if you will.
All right, we got Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, Kareem Hunt, serving his suspension. He's going to be sitting on the bench for a while for you.
Naughty boy. All right, next up, Golden Taint.
Golden Taint, as he says. 4-game suspension. He's got 2 left after this week. He'll be coming back. Probably a pretty valuable piece.
All right, Flash Gordon.
Yeah, Melvin Gordon still holding out. I'm not really sure if that's ever going to happen.
Because he's a pussy.
Yeah, he's probably not going to sign anywhere this season. I don't think they're going to trade him, and nobody will give enough to trade for him.
Nope. And then my boy, who's not on the exempt list, A.B.
Yeah, your boy. I'm pretty sure that's Sam's boy at this point, and he's pretty stoked. AB, they said they didn't know anything about all the legal actions going on, but
I'm telling you right now, in the Twitterverse, Brad and I both have seen this because we follow the same guy. Incarcerated Bob, if anybody wants to know, he was already tweeting videos of the DMs from this chick on AB. AB had video. He videoed the DMs so everyone could see. And this lady is legitimately extorting this guy. And just because Antonio Brown is a piece of shit person does not mean he is exempt from getting extorted by a woman. Go out there and look at it yourself. I seriously believe, Matt, that the Patriots knew about it. They're just playing hardball.
Yeah, no, I mean, how could you not have known, and how could you sign a guy regardless of his talent or skill? I mean, you're the New England Patriots. You pride yourselves on grabbing the guy and teaching him the Patriot way. How did you not know this was going on?
It was literally on Twitter 2 to 3 days before they signed him that this was out. So the information was out there about the extortion case and the lawsuit and the sexual harassment and rape allegations. So I find it hard to believe that a professional organization like the Patriots didn't have that on file or even know about it. I think they're just lying like they always do. And there's no surprise.
There's absolutely no way they didn't know about this going into it. They're just trying to save some face with Mr. Goodell because, Goodell hates the Patriots. He always has, and he's going to come after him. Luckily for them, though, AB did not end up on the commissioner's exempt list, and he will play this Sunday unless something changes.
He'll play probably limited snaps, not knowing the offense, but I don't think it's going to be too hard for him to run down the field and for Tom Brady to throw him a touchdown.
Yeah, well, they've got enough weapons that, if they double cover AB, Josh Gordon's there. If they don't double cover AB, AB's there. So
I think I think
dangerous.
also too, being Brian Flores being a disciple of Bill Belichick, I don't think he's going to blow him out tremendously, and he'll try and give him a decent loss, especially with the drama that's surrounding that organization right now. I think Minka Fitzpatrick asked for a trade, and I don't know if I saw a report saying that he was given the availability to go for a trade. I think the report I did see is they're allowing him to seek trade. Or I know that for a fact that he did ask for it. So that organization is a dumpster fire, and the Patriots will buttfuck them on Sunday.
Yep, that's pretty much guaranteed because Miami's the worst team in the NFL. Welcome to being the new Browns / Cardinals
/ Chargers.
/ Chargers. Yeah, sort of.
Yeah.
Next up, we got our trade talks. We have dubbed this Sam's Jacket Room.
Bum, bum, bum.
Only a couple of trades to talk about here today. We're not going to go back as far as our last podcast because that'd be boring, and everybody's already talked about that.
Hey, hold that. We should pause this and drink some bourbon real quick.
Yeah, I think we probably need to take a
All right,
break.
BRB intermission. All right, we are back, baby.
I got a little bourbon in my bones now, feeling a little bit better.
Always better.
All right, couple trades to talk about in the Jacket Room today. First big one going on just a few days ago. Looks like that was a big trade, 3 for 3.
6-man trade.
Never see anything like that. Kind of astonishing, honestly. Between two people that are picky about their trades, honestly. And so it was kind of good to see something big going on. Adam acquired Larry Fitzgerald, Amari Cooper, and Mitch Trubisky, and gave up Brandon Cooks, Lamar Jackson, and Christian Kirk. What do you think about this one, Andrew?
I think it helps both teams. It was a bit of a wash, in my opinion. I'm not looking forward to facing Lamar Jackson this weekend. I think that was kind of bullshit, but, it's cool, Adam. I still love you. Especially with a guy going off like Lamar Jackson, who looks to be his odds, I think, went from 1,000 to 1 to 100 to 1 to be NFL MVP in Vegas. So to trade for a guy like that, it's a good move. Mo really didn't lose all too much. I don't know why you would want Mitch Trubisky, but I know why you would want Amari Cooper and Larry. The dude's a Hall of Famer.
Consummate professional. He's always going to be good. Yeah, he gets the targets. He gets to play. If he stays healthy this year, he's going to be a good pickup.
Really, this trade just came down to Lamar Jackson, honestly.
It did. I leaned toward Mo winning on this one, but at the same time, Lamar Jackson obviously showed out toward the end of last season, beginning of this season. First game, he's obviously showed out, but you kind of got to worry and wonder about his health long term. Now, he only had to run the ball a few times last week, but that was against a Miami defense that's absolutely abysmal. So what's going to happen when he gets back into the North?
We're not going to know.
We're
not going to know until he's there. So it's kind of a little bit of a gamble, but hey, at the same time, good for Mo for making the trade. Like you said, I was happy to see him open up his team and make a move happen, and it was cool to see a 6-man trade go through, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely. It remains to be seen who won that one, but I think it's pretty even. I kind of tend to lean toward Mo, though, because of Lamar Jackson there. Next trade we got up, and the only other trade of the week that was in there was Stu acquired tight end Mark Andrews and gave up wide receiver Marvin Jones. What do you think about this one?
I don't understand this trade at all. I would have kept Mark Andrews and held on to him to see if he would materialize and continue to have the play that he had. Marvin Jones is the deep threat guy, but it's Marvin Jones in Detroit. You're going to either have Matt Stafford playing good, or you're gonna have Matt Stafford playing bad. It's just you're not gonna get both at the same time. You get one or the other. So, either Marvin Jones is gonna have a good day or a bad day, and I just think that I would have gambled But at the same time, he has George Kittle. He had trade power. I think he could have. So let's say this: if Mark Andrews had another bomb weekend this weekend, he could potentially trade him for someone better than Marvin Jones, in my opinion. However, they are. There's always that risk that you might not be able to get anybody for him.
If you look at Rodney's roster, I mean, he's not all the way solid at the wide receiver position. I think that he definitely made a bit of an upgrade over possibly Emmanuel Sanders. His bench looks better as far as receivers go now, and he did not at the time need the tight end. He can stream for the 1 week that Kittle's not there, and he's got better options at wide receiver. So I think it's pretty fair across the board. I don't really think anybody necessarily won this one personally.
Disagree. I think Stu came out on top, but hey, good on you, Stu. Keep it going. Next up, we have Life Outside the Wire in the Danger Zone. I'll go ahead and start on this one. We had a Mr. Matthew Shepard here spend $63 for Mr. TJ Hawkinson. Big money.
Man, I just felt like, I had really improved my team, needed that tight end help. Worried about Greg Olsen because he's old. He's going to have good games, but at the same time, he's going to battle injury all season long like he has the last couple of years.
And then he broke a foot off in your ass.
Yeah, he did do that last night.
He had a revenge game against you for doing that and spending your WAB. But, hey, it remains to be seen. TJ Hawkinson might be a worthy pick to spend your money on. I disagree with how much you spent, but I did feel like there would be other people out there that were going to spend more. So
yeah, I mean, if you look at all the bids, Brad got up to 31, so I basically doubled what Brad had. I felt like I put in what I needed to get the guy that I really wanted. I had a couple other waiver moves in there with a little bit of money, but that was the one I really wanted to happen. I think he could carry me and at least get me to purgatory.
I'm just kidding about disagreeing because I totally told you I thought people would have a lot more money in them on him. So yeah, I was wrong on that one too. But hey, you got your boy, and hopefully it pays off for you.
Got him in the league of record now, so I'm pretty excited. Hopefully he can give me more points than Greg Olsen did last week. So looks like Dixon went after Mr. Chris Thompson. Stands to probably be at least equal to Adrian Peterson. Spent 31 on him. Him
good
and
pickup. Good pickup. I thought about trying to grab him too, but at the same time, with Adrian Peterson there, I don't know.
They're going to play from behind. Chris Thompson's the passing back. I think it's a good play. At worst, he's definitely a bye week or a flex play.
Get him 10 points, no problem.
Exactly.
Easy, but
getting rid of Peyton Barber, who apparently is still the starter, despite reports from
despite all the reports that we see on every app or analytics. I think it was a smokescreen by Bruce Arian. And then I also will get into a little bit about him and O.J. Howard a little later. But Chris Thompson looks like a good pickup. Did spend a little bit of money on him, but hey, I think it might pay off for you.
Yeah, and Andrew, you got a couple of them in there. You spent 23 on Gio on the chance that that Joe Mixon is not going to play this week, which looks like he probably is. But ankle injuries tend to linger. Possibility that he could miss some time, so that's a good pickup. You outbid me on that one. We were the only two going after him. I put 16. You got 23. You also got Malcolm Brown, running back for the Rams. You dropped one backup for another backup in the same team, but it looks like you ended up with the better of the two. You, Adam, and Copro all going for him, and you basically doubled up Adam on that. And then you also ended up with John Ross, who kind of showed out for Cincinnati. Had a really good game. Looks like he's going to be the role filler for sure. Waiting on A.J. Green to come back. Dropped Sam Darnold, Mr. Mono. You and Copro after him. Of course, you spent about $15 more than you needed to, but you still got him. That's what matters.
Hey, with all the injuries that I had to do something, and I had to go after some guys and be aggressive. I don't regret my decisions, and I'm looking forward to using my newly acquired players.
Looks like Sam ended up getting Matt Stafford, put in 10, dropped the dumpster fire that is Jameis Winston to pick him
nasty.
up. And then we got a $1 swap at defenses, dropping the Eagles, picking up the Bills. And another $1 swap for Mr. Lovick. Tennessee Titans dropping the Cleveland Browns. Then we got a few $0. I wanted to get rid of the old man Vinatieri. Got Dan Bailey. Day-Day, in a shocking surprise, dropped Cam Newton to pick up Kirk Cousins, though Kirk did have a good game.
And Cam looks like the Queen of England.
Knowing what we know now since last night's game.
Day, that was a good move for you, buddy.
Yeah, definitely. Ended up spinning a little wab over there, Brad, to pick up Cam, and he kind of still looks like hot garbage, but I do feel like he'll figure it out.
He'll figure it out. It's Cam fucking Newton, but at the same time, that man has the weirdest fucking outfits for games.
I think he wants. He thinks he's ET, right?
Oh, that was brutal.
Eskimo picked up Terry McLaurin and dropped Darwin Thompson, who we have now learned is absolutely worthless. And then Green Bay Packers.
Back up, Terry. Oh, Lord.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
Put it in reverse, Terry.
And then Dixon picked up the Green Bay Packers and dropped the Los Angeles Rams defense because the Rams defense doesn't look as good as everybody thought it was going to.
Nope.
That's your waiver wire claims. Of course,
there's a whole bunch more that's happened, but we're going mainly after the waiver wire. 2:05 in the morning on Wednesday. When that hits, we want to see the big moves. Everything else after that is just fantasy gravy, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, gravy. That's kind of cut rate second best, right? Fantasy gravy.
Fantasy gravy. Okay. Cut rate second best.
Well, as long as we're on the same page here.
Always on the same page.
Next up, we got matchup predictions with Dirty Mike and the boys.
How you fellas doing? We're about to have us a little screw party in this red Prius over here if you want to join us.
No, you're not going anywhere near that Prius, okay?
Here's what we're talking about. We're talking about a bunch of hobos with fingers in each other's pooper in a stranger's car with talk radio playing really loud. It's going to be a nice evening.
Well, we're not participating in that. We have no interest.
Let me rephrase it. We got a jar of old mustard, and we got a poodle, and we're just going to get in there, and we're going to put some D's in some A's.
Hey, are you Dirty Mike and the boys?
How you know who we are?
You left a note in that car. Police, shithead.
He's a copper. We gotta go. Come on! Hey, goose it, boys! They're cops! Rub your dicks on the car as you run away!
And here they are.
Looks like this week, including Thursday, so we got some points already put up this week.
In an abysmal game.
Yeah, definitely. Ronald Jones, he's going to get more work, so they say. Work. That's what they say. 4 carries, 9 yards. Bruce Arians, fuck that guy. But I put up a whopping 8.9 between my flex and my defense. And old Greg himself, revenge game, as we said earlier. 17 points against me.
Now, speaking on Bruce Arians real quick, I will say that O.J. Howard and Cameron Brate, some of the most talented tight ends in the league, are not getting any work. And I don't know if this guy just fucking hates tight ends or if he's just a fucking idiot because he is not having Jameis throw the ball to them. Hell, I was talking to Brad earlier today, and Brad said, I didn't watch the whole game, but fucking O.J. Howard came in as a fullback.
Yeah, that's poor use right there, and obviously poor use of Ronald Jones because Ronald Jones is the best back in that backfield, and he should have had 15 points last night.
I don't know, man. Points don't lie.
Nobody asked you. So me and Mr. Dixon asked Papa Mig. Dixon's going to win this one unless I get an outright quality showing out of a few players. I'm probably in trouble. He's going to have to see some players underperform. So
you are fucked, sir. You are 0-2.
Definitely going with Dixon on this one. I'm probably going to be 0-2, and he's going to be 1-1. I'm going to be at the bottom. He's going to be in the middle. So, next matchup, we got Adam and Mr. Koprovic. Looks like we got a really close game started here. Adam's got 25 points out of just Godwin. Only Godwin knows. That's his name. He's all in on Godwin there. And 13.4 points out of DJ Moore. DJ Moore turning in a solid showing. Probably hope for a little more as their supposed number one wide receiver.
I think Copra will be just fine starting Tom Brady against the Miami defense.
Yeah, I think he's going to make up the difference of what your wide receiver one is supposed to get you, which DJ Moore should get for you. But he's got DeAndre Hopkins.
I take Copra on this one. Sorry, Adam. Even though you got a good lead.
if you'd have kept Lamar Jackson, I'd have probably gone with you. But unfortunately, you don't have Lamar Jackson anymore, so I can't go with you on this one, Adam. I'm sorry. Copro takes it over Adam. Game number 3, Brad Lucas and Michael Day.
Now this one is tight, like a toiga, and here's why. Christian McCaffrey, the X factor of Brad's team, 6.3 points last night. The Tampa Bay defense prepped for him and prepped for Cam not to throw, and Cam did not throw.
Shut him down. He averaged 2.1 yards per carry. Abysmal for Christian McCaffrey.
Abysmal.
Terrible showing. That's unfortunate for you, Brad. Don't really care. Fuck you, Brad.
Deshaun Watson might come out and
He's got a really good matchup.
Really good matchup. And Ben Roethlisberger, it kind of remains to be seen. Last game with the Patriots was absolutely terrible. I know he's your boy because you're a Steelers fan. But here we've got Deshaun Watson versus Ben Roethlisberger. From what we've seen so far, I take Deshaun Watson over Pittsburgh, over Big Ben. But it might be time for Big Ben to say, enough fucking around. Let's do this.
I think they're going to score a pretty equal amount of points this week. I think it's going to be a wash at quarterback. Ben has proven time and time again off of a poor performance, he comes back with a good one. He's got a pretty decent matchup against Seattle that don't have the corners that they used to. They are not the lockdown defense that they used to be. So I think he's got a really good matchup, and I think that Watson and Roethlisberger kind of have a wash. You're looking 25, 26 points probably per, maybe pushing 30.
You know, the predictions here show 115.99 to 115.14, and I think this could be the game of the week.
It's looking close after you consider the Thursday night games. It's definitely there. Remains to be seen what Nick Chubb's going to do. Definitely did not have quite the week that he was hoping for last week. T.Y. Hilton obviously still very, very involved in that offense. Indy has proved that they are not laying down without Andrew Luck.
I think really the X factor in the whole equation for Brad is Darren Waller.
Definitely.
Will he be the guy that he's cracked up to be? From Hard
Can
Knocks,
he prove it 2 weeks in a row? He put up
Knocks,
numbers last week. Is he going to do it again? I've got faith in the guy.
I love the guy's story. I think he's a stellar guy, stellar player. I hope to see him do well. And
I picked him up in another league that others in ours are involved in that we don't talk about because it's not the league of record. I picked him up in there. I'm holding him. I'm keeping him. I think he's worth it this year. I think he's going to really, really be a good player.
It might come down to Darren Waller being the X factor in this game.
You know, I think it's Darren Waller, and it's also Devontae Adams. I think if Devontae Adams can find a way to get himself back in the offense better than he did last week.
Tough matchup against the Minnesota defense, especially in a division matchup, a rivalry game. It's going to be hard, but it can happen.
Minnesota's defensive line is no joke, and Chicago showed them how to get at Aaron Rodgers. So
they did.
It's going to be a close game. I think this one comes down to it. I don't think anybody gets to 115 in this matchup. I think this is a 105 to 106 or 109 matchup. I think that's how it ends up. I think I'm going to lean toward Michael on this one. I feel like he's got the better matchups for his running backs, and I think he makes a bounce back and ends up 1-1.
Right now, Tennessee is high and mighty, and they're playing an Indy defense that barely exists. And I think Derrick Henry comes in and has a game again.
He's gonna mash.
I think he's gonna mash. I'm gonna take Day as well, but very minimal point differential.
4 points or less. Yeah.
I don't know. I would say like 3 points or less, maybe even 2. I mean, it's gonna be razor thin.
You want to go splitting hairs over here?
It's gonna be a cunt hair split. Is what it's gonna be.
So we're both going Michael Day. As of now, looks like the game of the week for sure. Next up, we got Stu and Sam. Couple of guys, 1-0. Somebody's going to take a loss and into 1-1. Somebody's going to come out of this 2-0.
The Kellen Moore era has begun in Dallas, and Dak Prescott looks like the real deal. Looks like a real good pickup on Stu. I don't know if Matt Stafford can compete with that. Alvin Kamara and Saquon Barkley, a wash in my opinion. However, I will say Alvin Kamara has a great matchup against the LA Rams.
Dak Prescott's going to go ham on Washington. That defense is terrible.
Yeah.
And he's probably going to put up at least 30 points. Matt Stafford, Chargers secondary is not that bad. They're their linebackers and their defensive line aren't the best, but their secondary's not that bad. So if they can get a little bit of pressure, then they're going to do okay.
I think
Stafford's
Saquon
probably going
Kamara's a wash.
I agree.
Josh
Jacobs
Chris Carson, a wash.
I don't know. I think Josh Jacobs up against that Kansas City defense. I think Kansas City's going to overpower and do a little more against the rookie Josh Jacobs. I think Chris Carson shines on that
Flash
one.
Gordon's going to feast.
Yeah, he's going to outdo Thielen. Keenan Allen's going to outdo Tyler Boyd. Cook's going to outdo Andrews.
I don't know. They're playing the Arizona defense, and it does show that Mark Andrews is questionable, but if he does play, I think Mark Andrews takes it against Jared Cook.
Yeah, I think we disagree on that one. I think Deshaun Jackson outdoes Cooper Kupp. I think Cooper Kupp is missing last season, has kind of lost his role. I don't think he's as high on the pecking order as he was.
I agree. I think Deshaun Jackson, especially after last week, he's
back. He feels at home.
He feels at home. He's on the radar. And so on this one, I mean, I think it's a real close matchup. I will say that I do believe that Stu is going to edge out Sam.
Yeah, I mean 58-42 at this point as far as sleepers concerned. Man, with what Sam's got, I'm going Sam on this one. I think he's going to take a little bit of an upset here. He's only got 4 points of margin to make up. I think Keenan Allen's going to do that for him, and Josh Gordon's going to go ham this week. They're going to double cover AB, and Josh Gordon's going to eat
a water bet?
bunch. I'll take a water bet, liquor bet, whatever you want.
Let's do a water bet.
That'll be our bet, yeah.
I'll take Stu, and you take Sam. And Stu, you better put that on the books.
Yeah, put it on the board right here. We're shaking hands. Yeah, not the game of the week, but we disagree. So we're going opposite sides here, water bet. Next up, we got Rodney and Mr. Big City. They got this one posted as another close one. 49 to Vince. 51 to Rodney based on projections. And projections are always exactly correct. Because that's how they roll.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody has
Matt
played...
Ryan over Baker Mayfield. I mean, it's going to be... Baker's going to be pissed. He's going to try and have a revenge game. But I just think the offensive line isn't there, and they don't have anyone to protect him. And I think that's what was the issue for last week. Matt Ryan's going to top him. It's just...
I don't know. Did you watch Matt Ryan last week? He did not look like he is as good as he was.
But in garbage time, he got points. And in fantasy, points is what matters. It doesn't matter if you're MVP caliber or killing it. It just matters with points. So I think Matt Ryan bounces back and has a good game. Looking at the matchups here.
Where I definitely think that Vince has it is on the running backs. I mean, he's got Johnson and Gurley as well against Duke Johnson, which is we've discovered as of last Monday night is now the backup to Carlos Hyde. And
Devontae Freeman had a poor showing. I know that he's going to come back. He's better than that. And
I just worry about Devontae Freeman. He scares me because of his health issues. He could go down at any point. Philly's run defense is really good. They're going to go after him, and I'm afraid that he won't have it. So I think that Vince definitely wins in the running back, where Rodney wins in quarterback.
I think also Rodney wins in receivers.
I don't know. As far as receivers, I think with what they're starting currently, Kenny Galladay, Tyler Lockett, and Julian Edelman, Emmanuel Sanders, I think it's a wash. I really do. I don't know that you can count on necessarily a ton from Emmanuel Sanders, and you know that Joe Flacco is going to be rushed the entire time. That Chicago defense is going to hammer him.
That's true.
And I think I give a slight edge to Vince on this one because he's got Kenny Galladay, Tyler Lockett, and Julian Edelman. Too many mouths to feed. Emmanuel Sanders,
so will this
no quarterback to throw him because he's laying on his back.
The second game of the week. So there's 2 games of the week.
Well,
or do you think
I don't know.
This is
George Kittle definitely over Austin Hooper by far.
I agree. I think Vince
Damian
takes
Williams
it. I think
over
Vince
Jarvis
takes
Landry.
it, but it's a slight edge. And I'm sorry, Rod, but man, it's real close on this one. It could be a potential game of 2. We could have 2 games of the weeks, but I do think the other one is a cunt hairs closer.
Yeah, I think I lean toward Vince on this one.
I do
Yeah.
too. I agree.
All right, no second bet. Maybe game of the week number 2.
And
Final. We're gonna look at you and Mr. Eskimo
I'm gonna go
Joe.
I'm gonna go ahead and say Eskimo's gonna take this one, and here's why. My team is fucking wrecked. I'll put up a good fight. Hopefully, get some points for. That's my goal. However, it does not look good for me. I do have some pretty sweet matchups. I wish Sam Darnold was playing. It would be awesome.
Yeah, but he's got the mono.
He's got the mono.
He got a very mild 8.1 out of Mike Evans, which is definitely underproducing for Mike. And he's still projected to beat you by 20 points. And projections are everything, as we said. But Lamar Jackson, I think, against Arizona, definitely going to be better than Russell Wilson over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's defense didn't look good last week, obviously. But I think they have more potential than the Arizona defense does at this point. Le'Veon Bell, you got a good matchup, but he's got Zeke. And it's Zeke, and they're going to turn him out this game. He's had 1 week to get healthy, and they're going to run his ass off against Washington.
I just switched out my flex because Joe Mixon's practicing, and I don't think Gio's going to get his.
Gio's not playing, not going to be the starter. You got Devin Singletary there, and Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram went ham last week. I think they're going to continue to feed the ball.
I agree.
I think that's their option to keep Lamar Miller from running. They have a decent run game now, and if they can keep Lamar Jackson from running, they're going to really do some good things this year. They got Brandon Cooks and Juju. I think Juju's going to have a great game, but Brandon Cooks is too. New Orleans doesn't have a great defense as far as secondary, so Cooks is going to have a good game too. Then you got Ingram and Jason Witten. Ingram is projected for 11 points. I don't think he sees that 2 weeks in a row. I really don't. I think Jason Witten goes ham. He's only projected at 5.3. I think he doubles that. I think you win a tight end for sure.
I hope so. That would be nice.
Where you're
Come
screwed,
on, Witten, baby.
Where you're screwed is your flex.
Eckler. Yeah, Austin Eckler's going to destroy. He's going to feast. That was a wonderful pick by Mo, and I think he's going to get me on this one. And I'm going to be 0-2. If not, I'm going to be very surprised and extremely ecstatic. And then at the same time, I'm going to tell everyone I told you so.
Yep.
If I win. But if I lose, I'm going to tell you I told you so as well. So regardless, I told you so.
Yeah. But you're fucked. I'm fucked. We're both going to be 0-2 at the end of this week. But it's okay because we have the best podcast produced in this league to lean on. And, no dildos to show for it. So.
Do they have dildos? The other podcast does not have dildos to show for it, but this podcast does currently have more bundles than the other podcasts.
Yeah.
Which means we are the experts. It is the news you deserve, the news you trust. To get Some Fantasy Football podcast right here, Rocky Tail Studios. And as always, gentlemen,
giddy on up, giddy on out.